The law of love. If there is one law, it cannot be divided. If it is divided, it ceases to be law at all. Anything that comes from God must be one because God is one. Love is the only state that cannot contradict itself. Deception cannot exist in what cannot contradict itself. Therefore, the only possible law of God is love. But even the word law is a concession to language. In reality, there is no decree, no commandment, no thou shalt. There is only being. The so-called law of love is not a code to obey, but a recognition of identity. It does not punish. It does not enforce. It does not compel. It simply is. Love as the condition of reality. Love is not something added to life. It is the medium in which all being occurs. To speak of love as a law is like speaking of sunlight as a statute. The sun does not command brightness, it is brightness. God does not command love, God is love. In the first depth, the law of love means reality itself. Love beyond morality and transaction. Love is not just God's act, but God's self. This means that the law of love isn't about behavior, morality, or transaction. It is the cessation of all opposites. It is what remains when illusions of gain and loss, reward and punishment, obedience and rebellion are gone. Nothing enters it, nothing leaves it. It is not a movement, but a fact. Here the law is no longer a rule, but a living truth. The law that undoes all other laws. Every law of this world, gravity, economics, reciprocity, mortality, is a borrowed belief in separation. Each one says, you are a body among bodies, under rules you did not write. But the law of love says, you were never under any law but God's. And God's law is not a rule but your nature. Recognition of this undoes every other law you thought could bind you. This is the undoing of the dream itself. It is the end of bargaining with reality. It is the end of believing you must earn love. It is the end of thinking love is optional or conditional. The law of love dissolves the dream of laws by revealing what never changed. Lawless law. God does not legislate. God radiates. The law of love is the undoing of every belief in law. To accept it is not to obey but to awaken. In this recognition there is no longer a lover and a beloved, a giver and a receiver, a rule and a follower. There is only the lawless law, which is the fact of being. This is why A Course in Miracles calls love the one law, and also says, love is what you are. It is not something done. It is not something earned. It is not even something chosen. It is simply the truth. The law of love is not a rule for behavior, but the memory of what cannot be lost. It is the natural functioning of God's being. It does not tell you what to do, it shows you what you are. There is no higher law. There is no other law. Submitted for your reconsideration, a world built on defenses against what never attacked. A fortress made of fear, guarding the heart from its own light. Here in the twilight between illusion and truth, a man discovers that his greatest enemy was never out there. It was his belief that love could ever have an opposite. And when that belief falls, the walls fall with it. What remains is not victory, not defeat, but peace. A peace so total, it needs no protection. For this, dear traveler, is the final revelation of the law of love and the eternal freedom found only in the twilight zone. This is the only law, and it is not a law at all.